Apple Pay turns 10, and did Tim Cook really call Donald Trump? This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by the new MacVoices Discord, available to all of our MacVoices patrons. Sign up and join in the conversation in your new favorite online group at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's Tuesday night. This is MacVoices Live, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, whatever time that is, wherever you are. You could be joining us on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. We have a bunch of our friends in there already, and more coming, because they always do. People have dinner, have distractions, but they show up. So we would love to have you show up as well. Got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, so let's just get to it. We'll go around the room, see who's here, and then we'll attack. Speaking of attacking, Dave Ginsburg is in the top left of my screen.
Attacking?
Attacking, yeah. So we're going to start with him. Dave's on the attack. How you doing, Dave?
Thanks for having me, Chuck. I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Yes, there's lots to talk about this week. It seems like Apple's been very active, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, Apple and others. Apple and others.
Yep.
Top right of my screen, I said it in the pre-show, Johnny Cash, Richie Blackmore, and Martty Jencius, the Men in Black. Marty, it's good to see you.
Ooh, that's a rough reputation for me to try and follow. Thanks for having me, Chuck. This is great. I have kind of been pittering around at work all day, looking forward to just this evening with this group of folks.
I know exactly what you mean, Marty. Yeah. Tuesday nights come and yeah, I get energized. So right there with you. All dressed up, and he's here with us so he had someplace to go. Brian Flanigan-Arthurs. Brian, good to have you as well.
Thank you so much. Good to be here. Highlight of the week.
I love it when you show up, because you too are in black, as is the guy next to you on my screen, Webb Bixby.
Yeah, I got 3 of them.
Yeah. So Webb, what did you guys conspire?
I got the memo. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jim Ray is frequently in a black T-shirt, so maybe he's the one setting the trend. I don't know.
I am.
Okay.
I am the trendsetter.
Okay. I knew it. Jeff Gamet also apparently. I missed the memo completely. Jeff is in black. Jeff, good to have you.
I got the memo. I don't know why you didn't, Chuck. But I got the memo.
It's the internet. That's why.
Yeah. And I'm doing well, and it's great to be here with you.
Glad to have you. Last but not least, also in black, and this time no buzzard, or turkey vulture. He's sporting a bald eagle, Mr. Eric Bolden. Eric, it's good to have you.
Great to be here.
So tell us the story about you, how you got the picture of the bald eagle.
Well, he was just parked right there in the tree, hanging out. in an afternoon sun. I had to take the picture. And, I figured in honor of my being a little light on hair up top, I thought I would have company.
Oh. Well, he also is wearing black. So, yeah, there is a similarity going there. I like it. Guys, we got a lot of stuff to get through tonight, some of which is more just FYI stuff, but let's do it. The first one I wanted to touch on, and we've been talking about Apple Pay on and off over the past few weeks, but Apple Pay just had its 10th anniversary on October 20th.
Wow.
And the point of the Apple Insider article that I just threw in here is that, yeah, they conquered the world in 10 years, but they still have a lot to do. Okay, so what? But they conquered the world, and they show every sign, I think, of trying to gently expand that. So I feel pretty good about it. I know I do my darndest to pay with Apple Pay every chance I get, and more places are setting up readers of one kind or another. In fact, I just found a gas station that the pumps will accept Apple Pay for tap to pay. So it's just I know the U.S. is a little behind in certain areas of tap to pay, but I love it, and I'm still shocked at the number of people that use their phones and yet they're wearing an Apple Watch and don't use the watch to pay. Does that describe any of you?
No,
I'm with you. I use my watch every chance I get when I'm making a purchase. Every chance.
Yeah.
So
I just used it.
I don't even know how to do it with my phone.
Okay, that's a good. I think that's a good sign.
I mean, I see people, they take their phone and they authenticate it first, and then they bring the phone up and then pay for it. I mean, I think that's kind of been their routine. I've seen people do that, but yeah, you have a watch and just a couple taps. There's the card. Boom.
Yeah.
And then you have to twist your wrist pretty funny.
Well,
it's funny doing it at drive-throughs and
Yeah, that's harder, especially when they say you have to give the device to us so that we can go across the room and scan it, and your arm only
they're
stretches so
getting
far.
good. Now some of them have the devices on a stick.
Yeah, that's nice.
I guess I'm the only phony in the group. Although I wear an Apple Watch, I really just regularly use my phone and forget that I can do it through my Apple Watch.
Marty, I'm kind of with you. I used to use my watch all the time, but I switched back last year to using my phone mostly because I was having a problem where I'd bring up the card that I want to pay with on my watch, flip my arm over to pay, and it would switch back to the default card if I had picked a different card. So I was paying with the wrong card. And finally, I was just like, screw it, and started pulling my watch out again. And I'm trying to get back into the habit of using Apple Pay on my watch now that we have a new version of watchOS. So I'm with you mostly.
Yeah, just
Jeff, it
muscle
sounds like
memory
your
for
credit's too good.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
I'm sorry, Marty.
No, it's muscle memory for me. It's sort of, oh yeah, pull the phone out. I haven't switched over to the muscle memory with the watch. So
I think it's really interesting because I sort of know what you mean because I had that for a while with the phone, and then I got the watch, and it probably took me 2 weeks, and then after that, I never even think about it. But another thing I'm still amazed at is how many cashiers in all kind of stores say, never saw that before.
yeah.
How at this point?
I saw that for a long time, but not. I don't see that in the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah,
it went on for a lot longer than I thought. Maybe up to 2019, I would still get that, but I don't. I don't get that anymore. Maybe that's a Pennsylvania thing.
And a Colorado thing.
Yeah. Okay. Is it Jeff?
Yeah, I
Wisconsin.
still see it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Ohio, but not necessarily with payment. I use an app called StoCard, which takes all of your, store cards and puts it on your phone and in turn on your watch. So it's one of the apps that I use a lot on my watch because when I go shopping, I want to get whatever the discount or credit is. And folks, checkout people are pretty shocked. They're like, "Oh, you can do that with the watch?" I'm like, "Yeah."
StoCard?
StoCard.
For like loyalty cards and that kind of thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would love that. I didn't know about that. Okay.
So like my Walgreens card is a good example of that. So when I have to pull that instead of pulling out the card, I can just bring that image up and it has the barcode and scans it at the cash register. So
On your watch?
yeah, no, it does have a watch aspect to it too, but the only time I've used to scan the barcode is through the phone itself. But like I said, Walgreens, the grocery store that I go to, has it also. So, but it's Snap. I think the developers out of Germany, but I've had it for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chuck, just so that you can play with multiple apps now.
Oh boy.
I've been using CardStar for so many years. I don't even remember when I got it. But it's the same kind of thing. It's it's like StoCard.
Okay, that's it's one of those things that when I'm at the grocery store, I've got the little thing on my key ring, and it's annoying as the devil. But I never, when I'm in there, I think, gee, I wonder if there's an app for this. Then I get home and unpacking the groceries and completely forget. So thanks for that. You guys just gave me some work to do.
You're welcome.
Speaking of using Apple Pay, one thing I love when I can is using it on the web.
Oh, yes.
That's pretty great. And the other thing I noticed about this announcement, it's maybe kind of interesting, is that I guess Apple sent out a press release that, hey, this is the 10th anniversary. And I'm thinking that's the kind of thing that would never have happened when Steve was in charge. He didn't like looking back and, commemorating anniversaries and things like that.
Interesting point, Jim. Especially since the headline of the article says they have more work to do. You're right. Steve would have probably just been looking ahead saying, okay, how do we conquer the rest of the world? But at the same time,
I think that we have more work to do that was supplied by Apple Insider, not by Apple's press release.
Oh, yeah. That part. Yeah. Brian?
Yeah, I just put on there. I guess it's, not technically Apple Pay. It's more like Apple Wallet. But I always appreciate, certain companies that have the GPS built in, where, if you're close to a certain location, it automatically comes up as like a notification on your home screen. And like I use the example, I was thinking of like my grocery store, and they have their loyalty card that automatically pops up that I can open up, so I can scan it to get the discounts at my local Kroger grocery store.
We don't have Kroger. Yeah, Kroger here, and I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. We have Kroger, but I'm reading your comments on the Zoom chat, and I'm also, the other thing is like, oh my gosh, you still have Fry's, which I know it's not the same as the Fry's we used to have.
But Fry's grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is the same family. It's an option.
Yeah, it is actually, yeah.
Web?
Oh, I was just checking the StoCard, I think, is now part of the Klarna system. Just somebody bought StoCard.
Does not clarify anything for me, Web.
Is that Klarna that's doing the EU kind of stuff with the Apple Card?
I thought Klarna, same thing, same outfit. I thought it was one of these. You can stretch out the payment vendors.
Right.
So I could be wrong, but I just logged into StoreCard and they said, "Hey, you got to go over here now." So, but all my information was still there.
Well, since I didn't know about StoreCard, I definitely didn't know about them being part of Klarna. So we're all learning things.
So I was just going to say one last thing on the watch for scanning it for Apple Pay is a lot of times I walk through the stores to get in enough steps if I'm a little close on my day. And for whatever reason, if I'm counting my steps on the watch and I go to pay for something, some percentage of the time the watch reboots just as I'm getting ready to scan. So I use my watch, except if it reboots at the register, and then I use the phone. No idea why.
Wow, my watch virtually never reboots.
Yeah, that's another one I haven't seen.
I think I've had my watch reboot like twice in 10 years.
Eric,
Guys,
if it makes you feel any better, I get rando reboots on my Apple Watch. It's not consistent, but every now and then I'm like, what the hell? My watch is rebooting.
Yeah, but you're Jeff Gamet. He's Eric Bolden. I mean,
that's true.
The watch knows who owns it. Guys, the next one is going to tread dangerously into politics.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, and so I'm going to apologize in a way, but I put this story in for several reasons. Let's make this clear. This is not about pro anybody or anti anybody. This is just a story that was reported. The allegation is that Trump says Tim Cook called him to complain about the EU. One of the things I found interesting is the alleged conversation is something that we've been saying here on MacVoices for a while, that it seems like the EU is using Apple to fund some of their operations, the way they're setting up fines and setting up what seem to be reasons to fine Apple and Google and Meta and others. The other thing I found fascinating about this, though, is that this was reported here on The Verge. I think I heard it. I think I saw it one other place, and I heard it once on one podcast, and then nothing from anybody. Apple allegedly refused to comment, which is no surprise because they never comment on much of anything unless they want to. But I can't believe how fast this story died. And I wanted to see if anybody.
Tim Cook is just happy he didn't say anything about him being in the shower.
Oh my God.
Why would that
Jim,
make him happy?
You're my hero.
Yeah. Eric,
I'm sorry.
The part of the interview they cut out was, sir, excuse me, your pants are on fire.
They cut that out of every interview.
And it's not true because he referred to him as Tim Cook instead of Tim Apple.
Yeah. It's okay. So Marty, you made the jokes, and they're spot on, and yet, I think you're speaking the truth here. I don't think this conversation ever happened.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And why would Tim Cook call someone who's not the president about changing policies related to the EU, especially knowing this is someone that has a long track record of lying and just generally making stuff up, but then also is someone who has shown that they don't keep secrets and will brag about whatever they can to for whatever reason that they want to brag. So put all that together. Why would Tim Cook call Donald Trump right now? Now, if this was after the election and Trump won the election, then talking to him about U.S. policy related to U.S. companies operating in the EU, I could see that happening. But right now, it doesn't make sense, and I don't think the call or the conversation happened.
Anybody else want to throw in?
No, I agree.
Hard to
I agree.
say. I think it probably didn't, but on the other hand, the reason would be to get your call in, banked ahead of time rather than, oh, you won, so now I'm going to come crawling. So
Again,
I still don't think it happened.
yeah, I mean, I think Jeff laid it out really. All the logic Jeff just applied to it is completely valid. But I still want to know the tech websites, the tech news websites never have shied away from politics, especially tech-oriented politics. And the fact that this didn't get more publicity, I'm surprised. I don't know if it's just a matter of them showing partisanship by turning their back on anything that says Trump or what, but
there are some things going on in the way that, the news cycle is incredibly short, first of all, right now. And, what's the story? Apple denies it. Trump is, a fire hose of questionable information every day. So, there's, there was a whole bunch of, unsealed information in the court case on Friday that seems to, not gotten any coverage. Seems like a much bigger story than this.
Oh, that's a good point, Jim. Jeff?
I think part of the problem here, and I'm going to have to do the big wavy hands, the algorithm. And I say that because I have seen a few stories about this show up in my Flipboard feed. And it's possible that I was seeing stories that were just being copied from one site to another, but I saw the headline multiple times from different sources show up in Flipboard over a couple days. And Flipboard is my morning news magazine, if you will. And actually, I saw more coverage about this just from reading headlines than I did about what Jim was just referencing coming out in the whole court thing. And I think that if I was consuming my news regularly in a different way, I might have seen more about the court case than this. So I don't know if it's so much that these stories aren't being covered, or if it's that the way content is presented to us it's getting buried somewhere in the mix.
So you're blaming the algorithm for burying it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, granted, I don't have scientific data to back that up. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, maybe a very big grain of salt. Just this is my speculation.
Fair. Eric?
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure why somebody would have written this article in the first place. I mean, other than to write an article speculating on a bunch of things and throwing a bunch of random statements out, it doesn't look like anything really could be confirmed. And And, it's just sort of suggesting a bunch of calls may or may not have happened about a bunch of subjects that may or may not have been the real subject, but here it is. So, it doesn't surprise me that we didn't see a whole pile of different articles, because I don't know how anyone could have really done checking on this. And if nobody responded to it, there's not really a whole lot of content to it. Now, maybe if you're just going for clicks, it's worth it to throw it out there because it's got a bunch of different names in there. But it just seems sort of like an oddball article to put out there. And I'm willing to read a lot.
Yeah, Eric, and I didn't see them. Jeff apparently saw more than I did, but I would have. There's some websites we talk about their content here on MacVoices, and I wouldn't have been a bit surprised to see this kind of thing on their site and having a bit of a different discussion here. But given that it was The Verge, that's why I can't help but wonder. And I have no commentary one way or the other as to whether Tim did or didn't, Trump did or didn't. I don't care. Just the idea that this popped up and just vanished. If nothing else, maybe it was more widespread than I saw, but it sure didn't have any legs. But maybe it is just too much is happening in the world. Okay, we did good on staying non-political on that one. Good job, guys. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.